Outer Orange.
And welcome back to another video. We are here today. This is the TCG player. We're gonna be talking about some Dragontree Invasion set 9. It's coming out in a couple days, so we're gonna be doing a what to buy this time around for all the nations that are in here, and pretty much talk about the decks and some of the decks I've been topping, some of the decks, just overall just lists and stuff like that, and going through some maybe some staples that you may need, cards may not need as much, and kind of just see what may be of use to you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start over with Dragon Empire, actually, because it fits along with my deck sander over here, so that's why we're doing that. But here we have Dragon Empire. Honestly, this is the one nation I didn't really touch too much. However, I did notice there's a Eugene card in here, so if you really need Eugene cards, right there, you can kind of just, you know, use it. You can grab some stuff, and actually stands itself and all this other stuff, so, you know, something to think about. You could rest in and restand it back up, so it's actually pretty cool. And then obviously we can grab the Dragon Tree stuff. I know that the Dragon Tree stuff is actually not too bad with Dragon Empire right now, so you can use that. Otherwise, there's like a bunch of random like Nirvana support and Jiva support that you can run, and they also got reprinted, so in case you really need a Bob Saga, you can also get access to that. Outside from that, there's a bunch of random Eugene cards that you can use for a Dragon Tree deck potentially. There's like the grade 3 that goes into Soul gives power to Vanguard. There's the Asparadias that you can run, and then there's also the grade 1 Eugene card that gets a bunch of shield for the late game Dragon Tree effects. And then you can also obviously run the new counter heals, which are also in the set, so something else you can consider. All some searchers you can run to kind of the more generic searchers that can kind of help you find certain pieces faster and go for more the towards the late game approach. And I think that's really it for Dragon Empire, at least for me. I don't have as much information. If you have more, you can feel free to leave your thoughts below. Oh, there is one card that's actually pretty interesting, and it's actually the Desolate Spark Dragon. So this card allows you to bind stuff. So it's under Persona, but still allows you to bind stuff. And what's really cool about this is that you can actually play some premium. So just a little card to think about. But that's really it for the Dragon Empire side. I'm not going to give you information I don't really know too well. I know for a fact that some of the stuff in Dragon Empire on this end of stuff didn't. I know some stuff in Dragon Empire didn't really change too much. You can look through the decks here. This is Deck Sanders blog, but I know Dragonic Overlord didn't really change because we got the promo. Nirvana might have that new counter charge that they just got. Buff Saga shouldn't have changed too much. Tomorrow shouldn't change at all. Jiva obviously got a little couple updates. You can run some stuff there. Here's a list in case you really need something to piggyback off of. And then also there's Genma, but I don't think we have Genma. And then the Shojoshi shouldn't have changed that much either, so that should have stayed about the same as well. So here's Keter. So the Dark Strain restriction was still active when the set was dropped in Japan, so you'll notice that a lot of decks just run this girl instead, which is her. But for Bastion specifically, honestly, this deck hasn't changed too much aside from throwing in these grade 3s. Like, just you can throw this card in, but there is more bottom decking cards that have come out. Like, this is a bottom decking card. If you're Persona Road, you can counterblast and put all of your opponent's rear guards in the same column as the units at the bottom of their deck in any order, so you can kind of do a little bit of bottom decking, kind of go that control Bastion route. There are some random grade 3s that have like bottom decking effects on them. But as for Youthberg, I actually don't really like the new Youthberg cards. I think they're kind of whatever. There's this guy right here who can kind of give some decentness. I mean, there are a couple deck lists that run these cards. There's also this card right here, which also some people kind of run and kind of don't. It's okay, but the issue is not to be the back row center circle, and it kind of messes with Sequana's timing, so you don't really want that card. It restands itself though against power though, so it makes your second Vanguard swing pretty lethal. But this card's kind of okay. Your opponent's gonna be a great 3 or greater for the second skill, which is kind of meh. And then the verse effect is okay, because if you just place it, you can just get the extra 5k to your Vanguard, which is pretty cool. It kind of makes Schneisel like a little bit, like, you can kind of not worry about Schneisel as much with the attack patterns, but otherwise it's still a little weird. There's also this one little girl right here where, you know, if she's draw checked, you can kind of call her to the Vanguard circle. Probably pretty decent at Thegria or decks like Thegria. So there's that, and then obviously there's the Dragon Tree card that you may want to pick up. But honestly, I think Keter is sitting pretty well outside of, if you're like a Bastion or Youthwork player, your decks really haven't changed too much. If you're a Bastion player, you could probably pick this card up, but honestly you could just run Darkstream when since that's unrestricted anyway. So I don't think you really need anything for Bastion. MLB, PBO, Thegria, Graham Grace haven't changed. Minerva haven't changed at all. So we're just gonna go over to Brandgate and just kind of roll in there, because Brandgate has had quite a few little upgrades here. So let's go ahead and talk about Brandgate. The Vanguardia, you kind of need a bunch of cards for that. Like, you need all the cards pretty much in the set, and then you kind of want to pick up like maybe Bullmine or something like that, maybe Combat Rusher to kind of help keep the engine going. And then there's also this really interesting card that I feel like not many people talk about. It's the Enlightened Age Dragon. It says if you Persona Road, you can soul blast this card, choose a card, choose itself and get 5k, and then choose a set order from your drop add to hand, and then choose another set order as a different card name, add that to hand too. If I'm reading that correctly, I'm pretty sure that says you just grab 2 orders as well as the different card names essentially, which is really cool because you can actually technically run this in Ava too. If you want, you can soul blast the grade 1 and then And then if you discard the grade 3 during ride deck, you can during ride deck turns, you can just kind of get it back. I think this card is just interesting. It's not like the most amazing card in the world, but it's just cool. Aside from that, there's also the Velstra support. Velstra got the new operator, so you definitely want to pick up all your old stuff. And then there's also the scary card, which is the Freiheit card. Freiheit is pretty pricey, and I don't even know if it's worth getting this unless you're like 100% competing and you're playing Velstra. I feel like if you're not playing Velstra, you should just definitely hold off on this and just kind of wait. If you are not playing competitively, you should probably just stay away from this card because I think this price is going to be pretty insane. Because some people run this in like other decks too, if I'm not mistaken. Search your deck up to the same card. Yeah, so you get to search for a product card and all this stuff. Also, by the way, on the topic of product cards and orders and all this stuff, your rebusts. Do not forget about your Avenge rebusts. In case you haven't picked these up already, you probably should. This card may go up in price at some point, so just letting you know. This is a really good generic card. You can run this in like pretty much any deck, so like you should grab this. And also it's a 10k. And also if Combat Rusher ever does get restricted with AMA, this is just another card that you can kind of go into for over on the English side. So just a thought. You should think about it, but you can grab your Bone Mine since they did get the reprint. So Bone Mine's a really good grab here. And then obviously like, there's the Gravinia support. She's kind of okay. I don't think she's that good, but you can run her if you want to. If you want to just experiment with some new cards, you can try her out. To counterblast this card, you choose your Vanguard. If no triggers were checked, you can just give it a drive. But because you're pretty much making on a lottery, I don't think the card's very good. But hey, if you want to experiment, you can experiment with it. We've got some Galactic Hero support stuff, very minor support, and I think that's really mainly it for this side of things. I don't think there's anything too much else aside from obviously the ride line. And that's honestly it. There's also this really not very good reprint right here. There's another Gravidia card, but I don't think she's very good. Once you just put from soul into your soul from deck, if you have a Vanguard Nordlinger in this card team, you may call this card to back row. That is so high roll and lottery, it's just not even funny. I mean, Gravidia in its own has like a little bit of like a lottery engine, but that is like sub-peak lottery. But aside from that, I don't think there's anything else in here that's really gonna help you. Let me just look through these real quick. We got Seraph Snow hasn't changed, Orpheus hasn't changed, Gravidia has that one card, Ava got the new got the purple card. They're not really working, but that Dino's got that new hero card. Velstra definitely got quite a bit of support with the new guy along with the new products. So definitely want to think about that. Arcade hasn't changed at all, like at all, so there's nothing you need to grab in there. And the Avantgardia, obviously lots of new upgrades, and this is kind of what a deck looks like if you really need some guidance. There's this guy right here. I'll give you the exact name for him, but some people do run him. Well, he's pretty good. He lets you pretty much draw into your deck a little bit more. So and he also gains power, so he's actually not too terrible as well. So that's it for Brandgate. Let's go over to Stockade. Oh, not Stockade, sorry, Dark States. Let's go talk about Dark States. Anyway, Swirl got reprinted. Obviously, everyone's happy about that. There's the Vehemence Bruce is in the set too. So this is a Diablos focused deck, so you want to grab all Diablos cards essentially, or have access to Diablos cards that you may need. A good example on top of my head is like Jared, the grade 1 girl. I'll have the picture somewhere, but the one that gives an extra drive to your Vanguard. She's a Diablos unit. Definitely want to pick up Megan. She got reprinted in the set. You want to grab her as well. Aside from that, I don't think you just really want to run Diablos cards. Jamel is another good one that people run. All that kind of fun stuff. And then some people like Queen Sweep Dragon a lot in their decks, so this is just another card they may want to just grab as long as the price isn't like stupidly insane. This is a double R and it's actually pretty highly priced right now, so something to be a little cautious of, maybe. But if it drops, I recommend grabbing it while you can. Otherwise, I don't think you need too much else. I don't think Barrow got anything good. Some people run this card a lot, but this is mainly for Unica, so you can definitely grab that card for Unica. Unica got some cards in the set because obviously this is the set that she drops in, but mainly it's just her mainly support cards that you pretty much run her main support cards, and there's not much else. Aside from that, Greed hasn't changed, Jewel hasn't changed, Chronojet is obviously exactly the same. We have Thefnil doing Thefnil things. I don't think we have this card quite yet, but we are getting it soon-ish. We're getting in the new stuff that's coming up as well. And then we got the Vehemence Bruce. Here is an example. Here's that grade 1 I was talking about earlier. A little sample list for y'all. And then there's Unica, which I don't know too much about Unica. I haven't tested this deck too much, but there's the Queen Sweep. There's that grade 2, and there's also the Gunningham. I think it's called Gunningham. This is another card that you may want to consider picking up. All the prices aren't too obscenely high on it. They used to be high. They're not right now, so definitely want to do that. Let's go over to Stockade. Actually, I have quite a bit to talk about Stockade, since Stockade is like the nation I play the most, the nation that I have the most decks in, the nation that I just know the most in. Starting off with the Gyodot. So this card's actually insane. I would highly recommend picking this card up. This card is really good Magnolia in both Persona and non-Persona version of her, so I highly recommend picking this card up. This card does everything in one. It draws, it gives you soul, it gives power. It's just a really insane card. Very, very good support for Magnolia. Obviously, Inlet's getting reprints, so if you need Inlet, grab those. Tideline's is another really good card. There's like people running Flagberg, Zorga, Magnolia, just pretty much everything because it's generic. It says one Persona run. If you Persona run this turn, you can Soul Blast, give one of your units 10k and it give itself 10k. So you can just kind of run it in like multiple decks. It's pretty useful. Not the best card in the world, but it's useful enough. And then there's obviously the mushrooms. Everyone is playing these mushrooms. These mushrooms are just, it's just so generic. The into soul to call 2 tokens is just so free. You can run this in the Graphia, which is or Granfia, which is what I meant for, which is what it's meant for. But you can also run it in Sorga. You can run it in Maelstrom. You can run it in Premium. By the way, this is a card you can use in Premium. You can run it in your Aquaforce decks or your Grand Blue decks. Or there's just so much little utility that this card brings that you can just run in pretty much any Stockade deck. So definitely recommend picking up that card. That should be like a must pick up if you're a big Stockade fan. We got this Tier Knight girl. I don't think she's worth the price or worth picking up. If you really want to pick her up, I guess you can. You do get double revival if you have her, but I just, that this card is so painful to me. I just don't think it's worth it. It's also a counterblast. I don't know. You do you. And then for the Granfia, so I do recommend the roaming prison dragons if you want to try something experimental. There's actually an entire thread in my Discord that people have been doing. There's like over 1,000 messages in there. People are plotting Granfia for a while, just trying out different things. But Roaming Prison Dragons was definitely one that was interesting. Aside from that, you can grab obviously all your token support. There's also this Winnie the Pooh guy. This people run in Magnolia. I'm not really crazy about the Winnie the Pooh guy. In my opinion, for Magnolia, you should be picking up the Garter Strict cards. You should be picking up Impics and maybe the Teddy Bear. Those are probably more priority than that grade 3. But hey, we got for, I guess, for Persona Magnolia, that Winnie the Pooh guy is actually pretty good. Lania got reprinted in this set, but to be honest, I don't think she would need a reprint. This is a random 2k 5k power shield over here guy. He's kind of awkward. He's on if you have a Flagward card, you can use him. He's okay, but the space is kind of limited for him. And then there's also the actual Stockade card that came out. I'm not really a big fan of this card. I think it's very costly, but people seem to like it. You get an order back to hand, I guess, but I don't know. I think it's kind of painful, but people have been running it as well. And I think that's actually it for Stockade. I thought I had more. We can go through and run through these real quick and kind of give you guys some ideas here. This is a regular Persona, regular ride line card, ride line deck we have going on here for Magnolia. Obviously running that grade 2 that I was talking about. This card's just so freaking good. And then there's the Teddy. Some run this, the counter charger. I'm not too crazy about the counter chargers. It's okay, but it's also not terrible either. And then just looking at a couple, oh, that's upside down, sure. Another couple of some still run the Panther. I'm not really a big fan of the Panther, but people like the Panther. Panther just kind of awkward to me sometimes because it's just the power. Or you can run the old grade 1 searcher. Not really old, but it's last set's grade 1 searcher. This is actually not too bad. If you go more Persona driven, I actually really like this card. Also, just finding your Magnolias is pretty peak. You kind of want to find them. Your deck breaks if you don't see Magnolia in time, so kind of need it. So it's a little searcher. I did forget to mention Aroa. So Aroa actually really likes mushrooms. The mushrooms are really good in Aroa because just for the soul and for the double token spam, definitely a very useful in here. Aroa has a big soul issue, and this will definitely solve it. So this is definitely a card you want to see. There's a couple interesting lists, by the way. I briefly brought up Maelstrom earlier, but Maelstrom actually runs likes running the mushrooms. This list in general is just very weird, but the whole point of it is to pretty much make your title like super huge, and then just make him have a crit, go through your deck really fast, and kind of upgrade the nectar, make the nectar super OP. And that's pretty much the point of this deck, is to just make your restands like super massive. It's just a very interesting concept. And here's a more basic Granfia list, just a normal list, just more basic stuff. So you run the inlets, you restand some stuff, and kind of go crazy. And that's really it. And then there's one thing I forgot to mention. I forgot to mention in Velstra about the counter chargers. So we're backtracking just a tiny bit because I did mean to bring this up. The counter chargers are pretty useful in this deck. I am not a Velstra fan. However, I'm not a Velstra player. Sorry, I should specify. I don't play Velstra. However, I have noticed a lot of people running the double counter charger engine. So they'll either run 4 Bowline and 2 of this, or they'll run 3 like this. So just in case you need some old cards, or you need to start seeking old cards, I would recommend picking both of these up. These are both monster cards. Notice that they're running the promo as well in here. So that's really all I have. I didn't include Dragontree decks in here because I don't really know the Dragontree decks too much, and I don't think the set has too much to offer aside from Dragon Empire being a Dragontree set. I guess it's gonna need more cards to kind of have its own type of thing going, so I don't think it's quite there yet, but it will get there. But if you have some lists, feel free to leave them below. On that, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this what to buy. I hope I gave you guys some kind of good information here, gave you something useful or insightful. Hope I helped you in some way, shape, or form. I mainly just do these just to kind of go through the market together and just kind of see what's going on and think of cards that you may or may not need, while also looking through Deckxander's blogs and looking at the deck lists that are out, and what people have been winning with, and sort of what is even worth buying, what's not worth buying. Maybe there's some cards you don't even need, right? But you're buying them because you're like, oh, maybe I need this, but you actually just don't need it, right? So that's kind of the point of these. Just a good way to like step back and look at what's going on. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna be out now. Thank you for watching. I guess if you have anything, leave them below, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. Don't forget to shop at 50cards.shop. Use my code OUterOrange and get yourself some really awesome deals. So yeah, peace out, guys. Das vidanya, and I'll see you guys in a future video. Bye.